You remember being 12 and you're dribbling a basketball in the living room, and the one thing you were told to never do was dribble that basketball in the living room, and suddenly down comes your mom's favorite lamp. And there you are, pointing at the cat who's asleep in another room. And unbeknownst to you, that was a beloved lamp. That lamp really tied the room together. Your parents are actually foremost lamp experts in the world. Well, that is exactly what your 80-year-old president, in the middle of a war he can't end, with international crises popping up daily, our economic situation in our country best described via a single word, decides now is the time to obsess over that lamp and blame the cat. Sunday night, Donald Trump posts a photo of dead brown grass on the National Mall right beside the World War II memorial. And once again, he made sure that we all knew it was vandals. Look what vandals did to the grass connecting the vandalized World War II monument and the vandalized reflecting pool. And then going on to say, anybody who thinks the reflecting pool wasn't vandalized should go back to law school. Now, while there was that large 8647 swath that was etched into the mall a few weeks back, this is a much larger issue. I mean, just look at this grass. It is in rough shape. And look, I spend a lot of time in DC. I love walking along the mall, especially at night. And I have seen that grass take a beating. I have seen everything from hacky sack tournaments to flag football to tag competitions all tearing up that grass. But I cannot ever recall seeing it this bad. So, maybe Donald Trump was onto something. Just maybe. Maybe this was the work of vandals. And look, by trade, my day job has the word investigator in it. So let's make like Blue and Steve on Blue's Clues and look for a clue, shall we? Looking at this picture from a few weeks ago, what could have caused that grass damage? Look, there's two theories, so hear me out on these. First, it very well could be somebody that got somehow past security, eluded all of the cameras, like the 24/7 monument camera that took the picture we just looked at. And then that vandal used chemicals, blades, something to destroy grass in perfectly rectangular shapes and then vanished into thin air without leaving a single trace of evidence. Could be that. Or, now I know this is crazy, it's going to sound insane, but stick with me on this. Or, let's look at this picture again and see if we can see some more clues. All right, I see a full-size concert stage, a bandstand, temporary event flooring directly on the grass. And then later on that evening, after this photo is taken, you'll add in fireworks and vendors and the 400,000 attendees. And all of that taking place during powerful thunderstorms. So my other theory is that if we determine who had all of those people, all of those workers, all of that temporary flooring and all of the equipment out on the National Mall, we will be able to point to who the vandal is. So keep that in your head so we can solve this together. But first, I want to ask you guys in the comments something because, look, I've got to keep the algorithm happy and your comments help do that. What's the greatest thing that you ever successfully blamed on somebody else? Was it your sibling? Was it barking spiders? Was it the wind? Look, the statute of limitations is allegedly up, so it's confession time in the comments. And in my completely unofficial capacity as a YouTube commentator, I hereby absolve you of all of your misdeeds, though I must say, any clemency I may grant, it's not going to hold up in court or any religious setting. But for me, I'm granting you clemency. Now, of course, when we look at all the evidence here, when we put everything together, there's only one person that this alleged vandal could be. Donald Trump. And yes, this has happened before. Remember, his own hand-picked U.S. attorney, Jeanine Pirro, already investigated his last vandal fantasy, the reflecting pool, and her office concluded that it was the poor construction, shoddy work, done by Trump's hand-picked no-bid contractor, working on a rushed schedule, not vandals. So now we are 2 for 2 in identifying, yes, Donald J. Trump as our vandal. And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling facts and cameras and humans with even semi-functioning eyeballs. So, when faced with all of that evidence, Donald Trump told us to all go back to law school. Now, to be fair, someone really did vandalize the World War II memorial. I hate that because that is such a beautiful setting. Police have said that a woman painted, quote, clean hands, dirty money on the monument. And then she dumped soap in the fountain, so it filled with bubbles. Elementary school kids would have loved that. But for all of that, she is facing felony charges. And the charging documents, the things that actually have to hold up in the court of law, not just the court of Truth Social, does not mention grass at all. So now we have 2 vandals identified. One ruined the reflecting pool, the grass on the National Mall, and an entire country's will to exist. The other caused damage that could be cleaned up with a magic eraser and a 3rd grade field trip to the mall. And of course, that aptly named yellow tang from Finding Nemo, Bubbles, the one that was obsessed with, bubbles. Look, Donald Trump skirts blame for everything. Casinos, somebody else's fault. The stakes, the airline, the university, all vandalized, presumably. Trump's economy, Trump's wars, Trump's losses in court, all vandals. Vandals named Barack and Joe, presumably. And because I live on the Gulf of Mexico, hold for applause that I called it that, it is mandatory that I paraphrase one of our greatest wordsmiths. Some people claim that there's a Democrat to blame, even though we know it's his own damn fault. Thanks, Jimmy Buffett. And look, independent media, we live on because of your interactions. Likes, comments, your shares. It costs you nothing, but it keeps stories like this from getting buried. And if you really want to support our mission, we would love it if you considered becoming a member. That way, you can support us doing this the whole year round.